professional trainer on strategy, performance management, change management, and also leadership. Also a widely published writer on the same areas. The most notable publication is a monthly strategy column in a magazine titled Small and Medium Enterprise Today, which lasted 5 good years. That is from 2013 to 2018. As I was training and writing, I noticed a challenge. More than 80% of people who are employed, they are totally dispassionate about what they do. What influences them to work is what they get from the workplace. I saw that as a lot of wastage of the human capital efforts, also financial resources, of taking people to school for many years, and then they end up being dispassionate about what they do. And I decided to see whether I can develop a solution to that effect. And in 2015, I wrote my first publication titled Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, sub-theme Unleashing the Human Performance Potential, first published in 2015. And what I didn't know is that eventually the publication was to be used by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development for architecture of the competency-based curriculum in 2016. And for that, it was approved for circulation in Kenyan schools from the year 2016, and it has been circulating in schools ever since. Alongside, I was influenced to write another publication based on DMAT titled Living Beyond Survival. Sub-theme, No More Tiptoeing in Life. It was first published in 2018, and the 2 books have been circulating in the school system very well, in organizations, in the religious sector, and amongst professionals who wish to align themselves with the thinking of the 21st century, because that was the main aim of the first publication, especially helping Kenyans to transit from 20th century thinking to 21st century thinking. Now, today, there's an issue of great interest. As I continue interacting with schools and organizations, and even the religious sector, there is something that keeps cropping up. The concept of bottom-up empowerment strategy. Because that is what actually drove me into the school system. And I explained to those who ask about that concept, but I would now like it to be understood clearly by all through this channel. Now, bottom-up empowerment strategy happened quite a long while ago, way back in 2007. That is when it started. By the way, I had been called into training and consulting in 2005 through an advert which appeared in the Daily Nation on 5th February 2005. And the advertiser wanted an outstanding individual who understood business well, both theoretically and practically. And somehow, I ended up being their best choice way back in 2005. And I was given a contract of 8 months on a part-time consultancy basis. And there was a lot of experience, especially on guidance, counseling, and coaching entrepreneurs who were already in business but were facing challenges. And the 8 months that I experienced that, from April 2005 to December 2005, I found myself now getting into consultancy on a full-time basis through founding a firm titled New Times Business Solutions, sometimes in 2005. Now, the coaching and counseling happened until a situation whereby I started training groups of people from different organizations. And by 2007, I had already been approved as a workplace trainer by the National Industrial Training Authority. And that time, 2007, we were approached by a company from industrial area which was dealing with manufacturing of towers. They had serious challenges with their junior staff, challenges of performance and indiscipline, and they were contemplating firing, many of them, and that would lead to crippling the organization. So we were assigned to help them sort out the problems that we were going through, and we did that very, very effectively. We trained on performance, communication, motivation, and many other things that I experience in most organizations. Now, the feedback that we were given by that company, having trained their junior staff, was very interesting and encouraging at the same time. And we now decided, since we have already tested how training can happen from the bottom, why can't we take the same process into the different steps of training middle-level staff and eventually the senior staff? And we started marketing that. And in 2008, we got our first client, which was an insurance company, which was able to embrace those ideas, this idea of bottom-up empowerment strategy, right from the beginning up to the end. That is from the junior level, middle level, up to management staff. And this company, which was an insurance company, was facing some challenges. They had actually been threatened with deregistration by the Commissioner of Insurance. And after embracing our ideas through a bottom-up empowerment strategy, things started working differently for the organization. And the ones that were in the same category with that insurance company, one of them was actually put into liquidation. The name of that company, I still remember, was Brookfield Insurance Company. But our client was able to solve those problems, and even the CEO of the company was summoned by the Commissioner of Insurance to explain how they were able to solve the problems of compliance, which was the challenge that would have led them to get into liquidation. Now, that for us was very interesting, and the feedback from that company, we still have 2 letters which explain clearly how the company was able to solve its performance challenges and getting everybody to have some situation of being rebranded, and that for us was very interesting. In fact, that company led us to yet another insurance firm whereby we undertook the same strategy and it worked extremely well. And that eventually led us to continually marketing that strategy even to government organizations, parastatals, and many other bodies. And alongside, we were noticing a problem. And that problem, we decided to dig out the source of the problem, especially with regard to performance challenges. And we traced that challenge to the school system. That is now what led to writing of the publication titled Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, so that we can continue getting deeper into solving the problem now through the school system. And after writing the publication way back in 2015, it became easier to interact with schools, especially upon approval by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, and also being used for architecture of the competency-based curriculum. So when we talk about bottom-up empowerment strategy, it's real, it's a reality. This country will shape dramatically when the CBC gets entrenched and we start getting graduates from the school system, because ours was ideally to remove Kenyans from 20th century thinking to help them transit to 21st century thinking, and that is what precisely the CBC is doing. Now, because of that strategy, we have dealt a lot with the school system when they acquire our books. Then we were invited to conduct seminars for teachers, for students. We have so far conducted seminars in schools spread around 12 counties, and we continue expecting that to happen. And every now and then, we also get engagements from organizations which actually want to also embrace the same ideas of aligning their staff or employees with the thinking of the 21st century. There's a lot I can discuss about this bottom-up empowerment strategy, but the details are well contained in our two publications, Career Dynamics in the 21st Century and Living Beyond Survival, sub-theme, No More Tiptoeing in Life. We also continue sharing ideas through this channel, and we are still available for training and consulting on these areas for organizations, for schools, and other sectors that would be interested in aligning their people with the thinking of the 21st century. We are easily reachable through 0722 51 6210. We also encourage those who have not subscribed to this channel to continue doing so, because there's a lot of information that keeps coming.